hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight.
Ruskin Bond is an Indian author of British descent. He lives with his adopted family in Mussoorie, India. The Indian Council for Child Education has recognized his role in the growth of children's literature in India. He was also awarded with Satya Academy Award in 1992 for Our Tree Still Growing in Dhara, his novel in English. He was awarded the Padma Shri in 1999 and the Padma Vibhushan in 2014. Here is the autobiography of Ruskin Bond.
My tiny basati opened onto the flat concrete of the building. There was no other construction on the roof, and a flight of stone steps ran up to it on the outside of the building, so it was quite private. I lived more or less independent of my family. I saw them 2 or 3 times a day when I went down for my meals. My steps were steep, and people seldom came up to see me, the exceptions being the boys of the neighborhood, Somi, Haripal, Krishna, and Ranveer being the friendliest of them.
But they came later. In the beginning, there were only the women who came to sweep the room and several visitors who were not of the human kind. There was a banyan tree just opposite. Squirrels were busy in it all afternoon. Sparrows, crows, and other birds in the morning and evening, and flying foxes at night. This was the first time I had a room with a view all to myself, and I think this was when I really began responding to the sights, smells, colors, and everyday theater of world around me. A short path ran beside the building, which wasn't very busy, but the activity on it was always interesting. A boxwala with a tin trunk on his head, selling everything from bread and biscuits, from the bakeries to hair oil, safety pins, and elastic for pajamas. An ayah with a baby in a pram. The rent collector with the teeth and nostrils of a horse. The postman on his brand new Atlas cycle. The fruit seller calling his wares in high pitched, rather eccentric cries. A line of schoolgirls with red ribbon on their pigtails.
When it rained, there was a greater activity. At the first rumblings, women would rush outside to bring in the washing, and if there was a strong breeze, to chase a few garments across the compound. When the rain came, it came with a vengeance, making a muddy river of the path. A cyclist would come riding furiously down the path. An elderly gentleman would be having difficulty with a large umbrella. Naked children would be frisking about in the downpour.
I had a door and two windows. One door was at the top of a flight of 22 steps by which I entered the room. By an odd coincidence, my present adobe, Ivy Cottage, also has 22 steps leading up the front door. Another door opened onto the flat cemented roof of the building. It was hot by the end of April, and as I had no fan, I kept the doors and window open day and night to let in whatever breeze might be coming down from the hills. Sometimes it was the hot wind from Delhi, but occasionally the wind came off the Tibetan plateau and the distant snows to provide a little relief from the soaring temperatures. Open doors and windows meant easy access for the birds and other small creatures. A pair of noisy mynahs, one of them bald, after a fight was frequently in and out of the room, paying no attention to me as I sat at my desk or lay supine on my bed in vest and shorts. Sparrows were resting in the little skylight, and I dared not open it for fear of knocking down their rather precarious adobe. A chameleon circled the room in search of lost friends, and sometimes raised its head to look in front of the threshold. 2 or 3 lizards were always to be found clinging to the walls or ceilings on prowl for moths or mosquitoes. Occasionally, One of these lizards would lose its foothold and land with a plop on desk, bed, floor, or my person. The sweeper woman told me that
It is usually lucky for a lizard to fall on some parts of your body.
lucky for the lizard or me, I asked.
For you, of course. If a lizard fell on your tummy, you will become fat and greedy. If it fell on your feet, you will travel, and if it falls on your exposed back, you will have many friends.
She was a good lady who came from one of the slums to sweep the rooms of the tenants. She made 30 rupees a month with which she fed a small family. She liked to gossip and finding me a good listener. Would have me updated on events in the locality, such as Mr. Lal had got drunk and fallen down his stairs, breaking an arm. Mrs. Saigal was down with typhoid. Someone's son had been caught cheating in his exams. Another boy had been caught shoplifting. An oncoming train had run over an elephant. My stepfather's first wife was suing him. The circus was coming to town. The Prime Minister was passing through on his way to Missouri, and she had a pain in her lower back that wouldn't go away. I gave her a strip of aspirin tablets, and after that, I became her medical advisor, listening to all her complaints and handing out aspirin or anisin, oriental and balm, and occasional doses of Eno fruit salts.
As I have mentioned, I would leave the front door open, even at night, but late one night I was woken from deep sleep by a hideous howling right next to my bed. Switching on the light, I found a jackal right beside me, baying at the moon or the stars or some lost love on the rooftops. I gave a shout and it ran away, down the steps and across the road, hotly pursued by all the dogs in the area barking furiously. I expect the poor jackal had received a bigger fright than I had, but after that I kept the front door closed at night. But during the day, the door was always open, and through it, one morning came a light eyed sick boy of about 12, as yet unbearded, wearing khaki shorts and chappals, looking at me as if I were an exotic and endangered bird. Then he laughed, and it was like a shower of rain on a hot summer day. This was Somi, whom I'd met briefly at his brother Haripal's house.